My dear friends, good morning. This is M.R. Ranganathan here from the ABK Hotel Dosokai, Tamil Nadu Center. Thank you for being with me for the last 3 episodes of 3S because Seiri, Seiton, and Seizo are called as the 3S of the 5S. Okay, the 3S or by training can be the 4 and 5, Seiketsu and Shitsuke. They're slightly different from the first 3 years. I'm going to be with you on the fourth years called the Seikitsu. And I am presenting this a Japanese thinking and practice by ABK Aotia Dosokai Tamil Nadu Center. Thank you all for joining me today. Now, before I make the presentation, I also would like to present my friends from the Yoshi Corporation in a place called Omiyachiman. They're ex-president, chairman, and ex-officio chairman. Mr. Suzuki was a great friend of mine. And then the current president, also a great friend of mine. The entire team are very well known to us. I met them in 2022 when I was doing my 50th year of entering Japan as a young trainee at the age of 28. So without knowing my face or anything, and the past president, Mr. Suzuki, the current president, Mr. Murata, and the entire team who has given me so many support. And along with them, we opened up the Tokyo way to Japan, and then the internship, technical internship for third year and final year, and postgraduate students in engineering, especially in the fields of environmental engineering, and then in the areas of environmental engineering plus chemical engineering, and also to some extent other areas of engineering. And on the right hand side, you will see my friend, the past MP, Congress MP. He's been very kind to call me. And then they offered me a commemorative present or a gift celebrating my 50 years of service in the industry for Japan-India relationship from the Kanchipuram Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Tamil Nadu. And I thought I will present both the things with me. And let's get into the thing. Again, we are marching towards a 2025 Golden Jubilee. This is the first picture of person starting this center. Now, as I told you, this is the 4th year after Seiri, Seito, Seizo, the first part, 3 years of 5 years. Now we are going to the 4th year, Seiketsu. Now, let's first start with the definition of Seiketsu. Definition is keeping things organized, neat, and clean, even in personal and environmental aspects. Where there is no standard, there can be no improvement. For these reasons, standards are the basis for both maintenance and improvement. This by the great Masaki Mai Sensei of Kaizen Institute. And it's very true that standards make the fundamental of our own life every day also. Now, Seizo and Seiketsu, if you kindly look at, because I always want to share about the Japanese thinking of these words. So it's not by looking at the dictionary and picking up words starting in English with S in the capital big S as the first letter of the thing. Now, if you see Seizo and Seiketsu, they're written the kanji with the Chinese characters by the Japanese, and then the Japanese lettering, Seizo and Seiketsu, are also written by hiragana down below in the brackets. Now, what is Seizo? Seizo, according to the dictionary meaning, cleaning, cleanup, garbage collection, and clear. Seiketsu, clean, hygienic, sanitary, pure, and virtuous. The two S, Seizo and Seiketsu, also share the first kanji character. Very interesting. That's why the 5S makes a meaningful thing, because they are written based on kanji. So there are overlapping kanjis which say that's a continuous way that you think and connect the different parts of the 5S, which connects pure, clear, and fresh and associated with water. The second kanji inside, so the third thing means sweep and brush. The second kanji in Seiketsu is what you call as Isagioi. Is a very positive character describing something pure, clean, holy, righteous, gallant, and free of dust and germs. So they are very positive characters which talk to you about Seiketsu. The Seiketsu, the first kanji, is called read as Kyomeru. The first kanji Seiketsu is a Japanese word to indicate purify, purification of physical, non-physical world is the foundation of Japanese daily life. Then the second kanji is Kyoshi, means purity. That's the second kanji. So Seiketsu, a joining of Kyomeru and Kyoshi makes it clean, immaculate, hygienic, sanitary, pure, and virtuous. Clearly, both are related to cleaning. Keeping things in an immaculate condition, Seiso literally means clearing or cleaning. And Seikitsu is the general term referring to maintaining cleanliness as a good hygiene and is the usual expression in Japan. It is an attitude of cleanliness and consistent habits for keeping things clean. It is not just clean, but actively clean, very clean, the deep cleaning. Now, Seiketsu, again, as I told you, clean, hygienic, sanitary, pure, virtuous, and immaculate, is for setting up standards and norms for a neat, clean workplace and details of how to maintain the norm, the procedure. So it's only not only setting up the standards, but also a procedure to maintain these standards. Regularizing the 3S activities, I always say 3S means the previous 3S, regularizing the 3S activities so that abnormalities are revealed. Make it easy for everyone to identify the state of normal and abnormal conditions. This you could see anywhere and everywhere in Japan. Okay, so if you think you go to a place, this is how it has got to be, it will be there only like that. For maintaining the previous 3S, a deploy of visual management is adopted, which is a deploy of the visual management is a part of the Seiketsu. It has been estimated by scientific study that 60% of all human activities start with sight. The dictionary meaning is, as I indicated to you, clean, hygienic, sanitary, pure, virtuous, and immaculate. The industry meaning is to follow meticulously the first 3S that has been practiced, setting up standards, norms for a neat, clean workplace, and details how to maintain the norms, that is a procedure. In life meaning, from early age, Japanese learn to internalize the specific steps, procedures, and standards for everyday activities. Very interestingly, you will see, even if there is no COVID, no this thing, you can see a lot of Japanese wearing masks and go in the trains, even ordinary days. I'm talking not just any special day. It's a part of their life to maintain the hygiene so that you don't spread something to others and they don't receive anything from others. So this is a part of their life. And if you go to your post office, you go to your bank, the way people count the currencies, it is the same everywhere. The way the students hold the pen and write, the same everywhere. So Seiketsu is following these standards and norms without any deviation in practice meticulously. Now, Seiketsu is known as maintaining or cultivating a culture of identifying abnormalities at the Gemba and in above three conditions, Seiri, Seito, Seizo, Seiton, Seizo. And there is another hidden key concept is the word Seiketsu. Japanese call a person as a Seiketsu person. So it's not Seikitsu related only to the 3S or to the industrial floor or our daily life. They also have another meaning by which a person is referred to as Seikitsu a person. The word may be the same, but there's another way of using the word Seikitsu. It means the politician is clean and fair. Fairness is a key, sustaining the 3S. So I thought about two types of fairness. This is what Oba Sensei is talking about the Seiketsu's hidden meaning, and he's talking about two types of fairness. In the next slide, I will show them. Oba Sensei has been an industrial consultant, and I always read many of his thoughts, and he can be reached in the LinkedIn. So kindly see what he says. First is a task that is to be completed in an allocated time. Okay. Now, very often a lot of time is missing for the job of cleaning because we say it has to be clean. In how many minutes? See, the Shinkansen train, if you see, it's one of the longest trains in Japan with 16 compartments. Earlier, when the train comes and stands in the platform, and then it has to go back again. So the cleaning took a lot of time because people never thought cleaning is something that they do for others. They just took it as a job. In Japan, always work is, if you ask what is your work, it is always defined as operation plus Kaizen. Now, there is a company that came and took over. The president of the company told those people, what you're doing is not cleaning. It is omotenashi. Omotenashi means you're doing it for others. It's a hospitality work. Cleaning is not a low-grade work, it's a hospitality work. Then he said, the Shinkansen has to leave in 8 minutes from the platform. So you can see these people all lining up in the platform. And then when Shinkansen comes, they all bow, receive it, wait near the gates for all the people to go in. And then once they enter, in 8 minutes, they clear the entire train, different compartments, different, but all put together. In 8 minutes, they clear the compartment, all compartments, all the 16, and the train is ready to leave. Then they bow to the train as it is leaving and then go to the next train. Now, they are called as the strongest team in Japan. Okay, so that way you can see 5S also should stipulate, if you say Seizo, this Seizo has got to be done in how many minutes if it's going to be outside the job, a cleaning job, a toilet to be clean, a workplace to be clean, how many hours you should take, how many minutes you should take. And even if there is a time slot, the number of tasks exceeds the time slots. When I was working with the Japanese in the IT industry, many times we tell them we have to submit a budget for every project they give. Sometimes our budget and their expectation, they don't match. So we go into a negotiation. Then the Japanese will ask, how did you arrive at this amount? We said, these are the tasks to be completed. And then they say, okay, if you see this budget and your task do not match, remove some of the tasks that you cannot do. But this is the budget I have. So do those tasks within the budget. And very surprisingly, many times the same task will come back to us saying that this is a mistake. This is not what you have expected to do. And then we say, no, what you're trying to do is push above the expectations. They say it's a the thing. It's a problem of your development. So this goes on. At the end, of course, we accept the client because at the end of the day, client is called as the God in Japan. Okyakusan Kamisama, we accept. And then we end up completing the job within that time frame as well as budget. So jokingly, I tell my Japanese friends also, in Japan, all things in a project work that's given to them, everything will change except two things. One is the Noki, that is the deadline will never change. Two is the Yosan, the budget. Noki and Yosan are two things that will never change. So you have to adjust yourself, sleep in the office, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to the corner tea shop, have tea and come back. Still you do it. You have to complete that. That is the way time slot is being managed. Under such an environment, there'll be 5 violations, and the shop floor is frustrated towards the management if they're not managing this allocation of time to the task. This happens in the manufacturing field and the Gemba. And that's why it is said always, do not bite what you cannot chew and do not swallow what you cannot digest. The other type of fairness is the activity when there is a violation of 5. That's the second violation. Oba Sensei observed. This is a very interesting case study I took from Oba Sensei. Thanks to him, I'm presenting it. Oba Sensei observed a supervisor taping the floor around a pellet. He asked the supervisor, why is it you're taping around the pellet? The answer was that somebody left the pellet there and the 5 audit is coming up soon. And the supervisor had to tape the floor because he doesn't find the manpower or time to remove the pellet. The best thing is put a tape around. So they say, oh, this is placed in the right place. According to Seiton, this is a place, and the Seiton is given by thing, or Seiketsu, the visual control is seen with the tape around. Then the Oba Sensei told the supervisor, do not tape because we do not need the pellet here. The thing is, we don't need the pellet. So in order to do that, don't tape. A couple of hours later, the supervisor returned angrily to Sensei and told him that the area received a bad score. I mean, this, I think, also happens in many companies or factories outside Japan when they do the 5S audit. Now, Sensei grabbed the plant manager and together started problem solving. Why the pellet is sitting there? In the end, it was found that those pellets were material which the incoming inspections were as incomplete and exposed arbitrary decisions by the quality acceptance. So the pellets were left there for these two activities to be completed, then they can be removed. One, quality acceptance to be done, and that needs the plant manager's acceptance again. Often such problem solving around 5S do not take place and unfair evaluations happen. The truth is that the supervisor should have given the authority to start the problem solving and somebody violated the 5S. Instead, the 5S become another number game on the shop floor, creating wrong action. This is Oba Sensei says in the observation. Then Oba Sensei grabbed the plant manager and together they try to solve the problem of the pallet sitting there. Then why is that the pallet? The why is one thing that can give you the solution to many things. Why if something is definitely to be understood. Then at the end of that, it is found out that those pellets were material which the incoming inspections were incomplete and exposed arbitrary decisions by the quality acceptance team to the plant manager. So the pellets were sitting down there as a part of that incoming material left for inspection. Often such problem solving around 5S do not take place. Instead of problem solving around 5S, it's normally inspection says some remarks and say this has not been done according to what have been standards, and then they move. And then what is then the thing is forgotten, and it again gets people wake up only when the next inspection comes, and unfair evaluations happen. The truth is that the supervisor should have given the authorities to start problem solving that somebody violated the 5S. Instead, the 5S became another number on the shop floor, creating wrong actions. Is 5S a number game is what Oba Sensei asks. Now, objective of the fourth essay Seiketsu. The Objective of the fourth is Seikitsu is to create a system and procedure to ensure compliance with the 5S principle for each process, sub-process, and activity to the first 3 years. Implementation involves a set of activities to ensure developing work procedures that support the new practices of the first 3 years introduced and have become a part of the daily routine. Ensuring that all employees know their responsibility in Seiri, Seito, and Seizo. The use of images of the other elements of control, visual management that contribute to the preservation of what has been achieved. The use of checklists, that's one of the objectives of Seiketsu, to contribute to the preservation of what has been achieved, and the use of checklists and audits for a periodic examination of the implementation stage of the 5S methodology. So, somewhere Seiketsu not only sets standards, sets procedures, it also give room for you to do a visual inspection to find out whether things have been done according to what has been already planned and given in the first 3 years. Now, in Japan, there is a culture of hygiene practice that may be quite different from what others are used to in their own countries. Restaurants and convenience stores typically offer a warmed up oshibori, wet towels, to wipe out hands before meals. There is also a practice of uchimizu, where one sprinkles water in the streets and in gardens. While it's a simple action that doesn't necessarily contribute to the public health directly, the thought is that it helps to cool the sprinkled area and keep down the dust. Japanese people always have the concept of uchi and soto, that is distinguishing between indoor versus the outdoor, meaning that anything bought from the outside is first considered unclean and then only checked and allowed. Samurai were said to have a very high literacy rate, right up the nobles and priests in those days. While their daily fighting practice was a necessity, it was also important to balance the stress of battle with some learning other subjects. So many samurai enjoyed shodo. Shodo is nothing other than calligraphy, if you have to say it in the nearest English. They write with the brush strokes with an Indian ink, and that gives them a mind, peaceful mind, away from battling with their samurai knives, to express and reflect on their own inner self. With the changing times, the need for samurai declined in the late 1860s after the Meiji Restoration, when Meiji government of the Emperor Meiji took over, and then the Meiji Restoration came. Slowly, the samurai went out of circulation, and then they have taken the other areas like administrative posts and other things, and the samurai class was removed some years later. Well, there are no samurai in Japan today. The philosophies of ancient times are now found and applied in martial arts, devotion to one's work, and ceremonial quality found in the traditional arts. They are still available in their daily life. The Bushido. Bushido is a mindset which has been recorded. You can read a lot of things about Bushido. Mindset continues and reflects the cultural properties and arts. They're still available in this current days, cultural properties and arts. In 1958, the Japanese Ministry of Education published a book called The Guide for Teaching Strokes, and it showed 8 rules. Where do they use the teaching strokes? In calligraphy. If this thing has got to be written, you can also write it in the ballpoint pen in the classroom. But the calligraphy has got a best the best strokes are given by when it is done by brushes. And so they had a correct process. Adherence to models is a part of learning write kanji characters. They are not simply copied from the specimen, but each stroke must be drawn in the correct order, and each stroke must begin from the correct direction. If students use wrong process, the teacher can tell and will mark the characters wrong, even if all the strokes on the page match the model. That means the teacher is such an expert that even from a finished kanji, he can find out the strokes have not been written according to the standards. Okay. He can say, this is the first stroke that you've done, this is the fourth stroke, but you've not done the fourth stroke, but you've done the fifth stroke first and the fourth stroke later. To that extent, that senseis were, trained, and then they can identify. So they say the students have been taught how to follow the best strokes from the brushes, the same way as what has been taught to them. The process has been perfected since the time of Chinese writing that was introduced to Japan many years ago, many centuries ago. Of course, later on, they said Japanese women cannot write in this kanji letter, then they have to find out the hiragana, write all those things. So, writing system has been a part of their life, and that again tells them standards and practices must be according to the standards. Now, make seiketsu, make rules in order to maintain the workplace in a clean condition using seiri, seiton, and seido. And these activities must be integrated into every employee's regular work. Okay. The idea of saying that is you cannot say, oh, today I have to do seiri, I'm going to the office to do seiri. Don't think seiri is a different work than what you're doing. You don't say, this is my operating, this is my seiri. They are integrated the work. As you do the work, you have to make sure your workplace does not have anything that's not wanted for the operation nearest to the operation place of operation. Make rules with all members participating in the workflow. If you have a group of members doing that, please make sure everyone participates in what you're doing. Make a manual and a checklist. And when you make a manual or a checklist, make them simple and in an easy to understand language. And keep motivating the team in doing the 3 years. This is very important. Don't give up. Please do not have complacency saying that, oh, I have done my 3 years, so I should have no problem now because Teri, Seito has been done. Never be very happy with what you have done. So some of the people, they say, in the monozukuri, the manufacturing art, or the production engineering, any way that you can call. It's an art and a science, monozukuri. So one of the top guys, Takumi, when he was asked, okay, Takumi is the highest standard. This Takumi is running a small restaurant in Osaka under the railway station, and you'll be surprised. He's got only few seats, but he's supposed to be top of the line. And maybe next the thing I will show is work. This thing. People like Japanese Prime Minister, as this invitee, the American president, they were sitting there in that restaurant enjoying sushi. So when he was asked, how do you feel about your work? He says, I'm still climbing to reach the top of the mountain, but the top of the mountain is still not visible. And that is what is the top of the mountain? The highest quality. I'm still climbing, but I do not know. As a matter of fact, the Japanese have got a proverb. If anyone thinks he has reached the top of the mountain, and then so he said, oh, I've done a great thing, reach the top. That is the time you start your descent. You start falling down from your standards. You don't think I've reached the standard stop, and don't be happy with that. The moment that comes into your mind, you start falling down in. Seiketsu is that's why keep motivating your team doing first 3 years. Don't let them give up. So this is very Seiketsu is not simply a momentary state of cleanliness. So Seiketsu is not standardizing how to do clean things. But Seiketsu is an attitude of cleanliness and consistent habits. So the standards may be there, but consistently you should follow the standard for keeping things clean. Not just clean, but deep cleaning and consistently kept clean. This is how Seiketsu defines. The clean and unclean are separated. Unclean things should not be introduced into clean areas. Periodic checks are made to find and remove unclean things. Sometimes we have talked about in Seri, about 1 point photo. Keep on taking 1 point photo. That can be a tool to check that what is new that has come into an area where already Seri has been done or Saiton has been done. So, or whatever you have done your Seido, suddenly you find the place where you have done the Seido, it's unclean now. These things can be found with a 1 point photograph that we have talked about in Seri. Now, see, in Japan, Seiketsu and Shitsuke are overlapping. The Japanese remove shoes at the entrance so that outside dust and dirt do not come inside. And there are separate slippers for the house, which cannot be used while going into your tatami floor. Look at the tatami floor in the middle side. People leave all the slippers there, and then they wear only house slippers to walk, but they cannot enter with the house slippers. They have to leave it outside the tatami room. Similarly, if you are going to the toilet, then there's a separate toilet slippers. So these are the standard practices. Somebody has to be there. The standard practice is a part of Japanese homes, always, and can also be called as an example of Japanese shitsuke, based on a seiketsu that has been laid and practiced from their childhood. The Japanese home is a clean space. To avoid tracking dirt into the house, people take off their shoes without exception before entering. From an early age, Japanese learn and internalize specific steps, procedures, and standards for many everyday activities. Children in kindergarten already how to take off their shoes and place them correctly before entering the house or school. Left and right shoes are placed together, toes heels aligned and touching and perpendicular to the entrance step so that when they go, they can wear and go. This is a standard practice. Children learn from a very young age. I went to my friend Mehara's house in a place called Sagaramura in a village, deep Shishu village. He's a great friend of mine. I've lived with him in his house. He has come and stayed with me in my house when he was a bachelor. Then with his, after his marriage, he immediately came for honeymoon to stay with us in Chennai. Then he brought his children like that. Now, I was interested in asking him, after seeing his two children, one was in UKG, the other one was in second standard, walking to their school in the morning. They were on top of Hilak Mount. I think they used to climb down along with the other children and walk to the school. The school was something like 5 kilometers away. So when I asked him, "You've got two cars in the house, why don't you drop them?" No, the school Seiketsu standards is the children should walk to the school up to middle school. Only after middle school, they are permitted, as they enter into high school, permitted to go by cycle. Then only after high school they can get into a bus and go. Some child is having a great problem pedaling a cycle or something, they can tell and then they can come by bus. And the children are now used to hard work, walking every day from the small age, 5 kilometers. No wonder they have a walking into the school has given them a great practice, which has become a educate to them in the later life. Japanese practices are perfected over generations. This happens to be a logical and efficient way, since it allows the wearer to slip easily into the shoes when leaving the building. I'm talking about the slippers also. Tying up lace shoes would be the last perfect preference of any Japanese thing. We all go with slip-on shoes. It becomes easy to this thing. Japanese people's English handwriting is very consistent from person to person. They have learned a specific process and standard for writing alphabet characters and numbers as well. There is no forgiveness for messy handwriting when it is written for others to read. You should have remembered you should have read this joke. There was old lady, her children were living in another village or city. So he asked a neighborhood boy to come and say, can you write these letters? Because I have not gone to the school. You have been going to school. Can you write the letter? I will ask. And he said, to whom? My children are at the. Then he said, oh, my legs are paining. I said, I'm asking you to write a letter. You're saying your legs are paining. He says, there's nobody who can read my handwriting. If I write and send it to them, then ask me to come. Then I have to go to the station, then from that station, walk to the house and come back the same way. My legs are paining. So that is for a handwriting joke they used to say. When we were in first year of engineering, I remember when we were doing our mission drawing, we had a teacher, Mr. Palani Pandi. I always have a lot of respect for that man because he is the one who changed uh, my handwriting. I mean, my batch's handwriting. He'll come with a small scale. If you're not writing, he'll just knock you out your knuckles. But a great, friendly teacher. Now, how many teachers can correct the handwriting of the children like that? The other day, I went to my hospital, Kaveri Hospital, and I met my doctor. Okay, and I was surprised. I didn't want to. His name is Dr. Kannan. The other part of the and I was when he wrote the prescription for us. I was very surprised to see such a beautiful handwriting. I said, "How do you, sir? Normally they say doctor's prescription is very difficult to read." He smiled. That's the way I write. So the way you do that saiketsu, and it becomes your chisuke. So now, if you see, Japanese language has expressions that do not exist in other languages. This is why, and this is where they show how importance of recognizing others and their work. As I told you in the earlier days also, mottainai, when you don't respect the others' hard work, even in a simple one term saying, I don't want to take this food, it becomes mottainai. The Japanese are very good at recognizing the importance of others' work. And perhaps that's why they always say in the evening, thank you for your hard work today before they leave the office. And for example, a way to recognize other work and effort, that's the best way to express Otskara Samadev. Therefore, discipline is that root that nourishes everything. Discipline helps boost talent. It's even more valued than intelligence in Japan. In Japanese culture, cleaning is more than removing dirt from the spaces. It is also a way of bringing balance to their lives. The daily discipline followed as a way of life. Teiketsu is a set of standards and clear rules that can be understood and practiced easily by everyone. Now, that's why I remember Ajime Oba, a Toyota veteran, once was asked why many other organizations cannot replicate Toyota's success. And they were talking about the lean manufacturing and TPS. He said, what they're all doing is creating a Buddha image and forgetting to put the soul into it. When non-Japanese are trying to replicate the pioneers from Japan, it is expected that they should replicate Japanese practices in a non-Japanese environment and culture. After understanding well the Japanese work and life environment, so that they can put the soul into the Buddha, what they are creating now as a pivot in their own workplace. Now, I'm very happy that I saw this picture. Many of you would have seen this picture also. Now, there's a mindset in Japan, standardization of social behavior, how you have to conduct yourself in the society, because Japan is considered a shame culture country. Okay, participating business rules and etiquette are a part of Japanese social life and business world. The way Japanese wait for trains to board, exchange business cards, the system of owing to different occasions, and you get into your lift. The man nearest to the lift has to press the buttons to hold the doors apart. When everybody is there, he looks around, which floor you have to go, which floor. He presses the button. Whenever that floor comes, he pushes it out. He is not the operator. And when his floor comes, he moves out. The person who is next to that, he takes over the thing. It's very interesting to see. They close the doors immediately after the last person leaves the lift, because they don't want others to wait for the doors to close. We don't have that much of thing working in many things. And if you see, Japanese, we are talking about cleanliness. This photograph is the Australians who won the World Cup. What is World Cup? What a lot of hard work you have to do. Finally, Australia had to beat India. Such a difficult thing. And then very happily, casually, he's putting his feet apart on the World Cup. Do you think a Japanese will do? Do you think Indians will do? No. The Asians do not do that. In the West, it's a very common practice for people to go with their shoes and lie down on the bed. So the rules change from place to place, or there are no rules at all in some places. So to make what works in Japan to work in other countries, the fourth and fifth, Seiketsu and Shitsuke, they need a mindset change. How to make this guy to put feet down? He doesn't even understand, or he doesn't realize what she is doing is something unacceptable in many other countries. Compared to the first 3 years, which are practical and trained. So the Seiketsu Shitsuke is slightly different. Don't equate it to the. I normally, when I go for inspection, ask them, what is the most difficult years for you to follow in out of the 5 years? Somebody says Seiton, somebody says, what about Shitsuke? So they don't understand Shitsuke. Okay, now, next. In a 5 years workplace, Seiketsu seeks to find optimal processes for each task, situation, and purpose. After the initial 3 steps, Seiri, Seiton, and Seizo, Seiketsu develop a consistent approach for tasks and procedures. How often do they need to be performed, and by whom? How thoroughly? These are all the questions that they are asked for developing their standards. Seiketsu is a system for maintaining and supporting ongoing and consistent with Seiri's, Seiton, and Seizo activities. Seiketsu job list. Seiketsu creates a job list, assignments, and scheduling for the other 5S activities. Job list, name tasks, describe procedure, name the person, a person is responsible, as well as the time the task has got to be done. You can create your own for your organization. Job lists are created for relatively straightforward tasks that is to be performed daily. Lists are also created for more complex weekly, monthly reviews. Just as in Seiri Seito, all tools, materials have their own proper place in Seiketsu. 5S duties are scheduled for their proper times and integrated with other jobs and activities. 5S isn't something added to the job. It is an integral, necessary part of everyone's job. This is something that people should understand. Way back when I was working for one of the leading educational institution, who also had this software company, which got my software company merged with them. We used to bring trainees from Japan to stay in their international hostel for training in India. Now, before they came, the Japanese manager sent a mail saying, what are the facilities you have in your international? Because it's the first time we are bringing the students, about 20 of them. What are the facilities? Will they be having single rooms? Bathtub is there. So we hurriedly put bathtub in all the rooms. And then he asked, can they see NHK television? So we didn't know. We asked the hostel manager, can they see? He said, don't worry, sir, they can see 99 channels. NHK is also one of them. So we wrote to them, they can see 99 channels with NHK, one of them. Then immediately the next question from the Japanese was, what are the channels that they can see? So we asked the manager, what are the channels that they So he gave me a complete list of that. So we mailed the list and said, okay, these are the things. And the Japanese managers came a week before the actual trainees could arrive. Then every room they want to check whether everything is there. Again, the Shishakanko point and call, which about which we'll talk a little later. So okay, there's a bathtub is okay, this is okay, fan is okay, AC is okay, like that. Point at the thing and then take. Then they want to check the 99 channels. So every room they had the list with them and then tried checking. And then they went through all the 99 channels, all the 20 rooms. That's where the thoroughness comes. Consistent about what they're doing. It's not that, okay, I've checked 1 out of 3, not like 20 rooms. And the outcome was, in some rooms, if channel 48 is not working, in some other room 38 is not working. In all rooms, all channels are not working. So we had a meeting. The Japanese manager asked, you said 99 channels will work. Why is that some of them not working? The immediate reply from the international hostel manager, without even blinking his eyelid, he said, don't worry, sir, even if they work, your Japanese students won't understand. Because it's all in different countries, Marathi, Gujarati, everything. So the Japanese said, very sorry to hear such a reply. I never asked whether you have 99 channels. I only asked the question whether NHK will work. All you have to say yes or no. But you said 99 channels. Then if you say 99 channels will work, your business is to make sure that all the 19 channels work. You cannot say whether my students will understand or not understand. Yeah, that's where a big difference in the way Japanese and non-Japanese operate. I just want to add that here. Seiketsu standardize the first 3 years practice as a part of your own work life. Seiketsu has got 2 parts. One is reactive, another one is preventive. Both of them together, reactive and preventive actions, both put together, they form the Seiketsu. A reactive Seiketsu actions include practices like regular Gemba walks with the eye for ways, eye for unconformity and all that, and Schedule 5 was audits with the purpose of identifying areas of Seiri, say, don't say so, and 3 years work done in these areas, whether what has been once undone, whether they have come back again inside. Like when I say undone, when I say what is there in Seiri removed, Seiton was what is not properly stored was again stored, what is not properly cleaned was cleaned in Seiro. All that, if they have come back, then they should be seen available to you the reactive Seiketsu actions. Make the previous 3 as part of your standard procedures every day. Implementing them with the help of signs, banners, shadows, boards, and tool holders, etc., is a part of Seiketsu. Make sure all workers understand their responsibilities and are empowered to perform all these tasks. These practices are very useful, but require routine and substantial management commitment to be effective in the long run, which is why we need the 5th and final S, which are preventive in nature. I had a great chairman when I was working in Madras Porters. He's not only a great chairman because of his performance, he's a wonderful human being. His name is Mr. Ashok Joshi. Mr. Joshi was our Home Secretary for Tamil Nadu government and also the Transport Secretary for the All India Transport Secretary. A great personality. So in 1972, when I went to Japan, I saw a quality circle being performed. No, not in 1930, I'm sorry, 1978, when I went for production management, we were taken to a shop floor where quality circle was in action. Then I met some of the Japanese senseis. I even had the opportunity of meeting Ishikawa senseis in one of the AOG's meetings. And we all asked, what you say works okay in Japan, but will it work in Japan, any other countries? And he said, human beings are human beings. what works here should work everywhere. Because we all like the same. We don't also dislike the same. So I don't like dirt and dust. You also don't like dirt and dust. That's a human habit. So all human beings are same. So all that we need to is to give them a guidance, and they'll. So there's nothing like quality cycle will work in Japan, but not work in India. Of course, I came back and then told my then chairman. There was a different chairman. Sir, it's a beautiful concept. I saw it in operation. He said, go and mind your business. You're a civil engineer. Of course, I was a civil engineer, but I was called for production management as outside faculty. And outside, all my other colleagues were mechanical engineers. I was the only civil engineer. I was taken in to evaluate the program by being one of them. And then he told her, what works in Japan will not work here. Go mind your business. I said, okay, sir, thank you. And then I left. Of course, after Mr. Joshi came in, very actively involved. But of course, Mr. Joshi gave me a lot of encouragement. And he said, it's a great concept. Why not we follow it up? And I came in. So at that time, I was constantly in touch with Mr. Udupa, and he asked me to start the Quality Cycle Forum of India Chennai chapter, and I created the Chennai chapter. And later on, I left them because I was very comfortable with their operations. I thought my ABK out is more than one thing that I can chew. I cannot be chewing this also. So it came out. And then at that time, I really understood what is management commitment, sustained management commitment. One day there was a presentation. We used to have a bi-monthly QC presentation by the circles. We have done something. So constantly we are in touch with circles. So that day evening, normally we do it in 3:30 in the evening. That day evening I had a QC presentation. Early morning 4:30 I got a call. I normally keep my phone next to me. Even when I had only a landline, my landline I used to sleep next to it. I kept it in my bedroom. So I got a call from him. I took it up. He said, Ranga, I've got to go to Delhi today. I had a very urgent call from the minister. I'm leaving. But I know today is a monthly, bi-monthly quality circle meeting. People will be there. They'll be expecting me to present and give them their comments, but I'm not there. So I don't want them to miss me, or I don't want to miss them too. So organize for the coffee and tea as you have done to all of them. And today you say it's a talent evening, so people can come and sing and dance, whatever you want. And then tomorrow evening at the same time, fix a tea meeting with them, and I would like to listen. That's a management commitment. Is there in everything, whether it's our quality cycle or seiketsu. And examples of preventive seiketsu or actions or installing ventilators or air filters, doormat, surface treatment of concrete floors, leaky pipes in the toilet, so on and so forth. I mean, this is something that we always say. Any of these preventive actions that you do must be done on time. The first sight you see it, you should understand, okay, this is leaking. This is a small leak. I will leave it later on. Next week we'll attend. Then the growth trend is what we call as growth trend. As it grows, it becomes worse with time. So don't allow growth trend to come into the picture. So the best preventive actions are those that eliminate the cause of the unnecessary items, disorder, or dirt altogether at the right time. For example, areas where dust enters the factory can be either sealed or like the entrance, you can put a air curtain, anything can be, they all come under preventive circuits. Every individual plays a critical role in the successful implementation of fibers. All employees are asked to monitor conditions in their own work areas and in neighboring areas on a regular schedule. Okay. Now that's again it's something that I just want to mention. In Japan, everyone clears the space in front of their house, so the whole street looks clean. Here we have beautiful apartments, 15 floors, beautiful. They have got a nice compound. But if you see outside the compound, all the dust and dirt, the and the construction, everything is thrown. Most of the thing I can take you and show most of the buildings like this in anywhere in Chennai or Bombay. So because we think the compound wall is our limit, beyond that what happens is not our business. So as long as we keep what is inside, so okay, fine. But what is outside our limit is not our business. Okay. Where possible, duties should be rotated among the work area employees so that all are familiar with both performing tasks and evaluating its effectiveness. So this is general practice in Japan. So they do through job rotation. Job rotation is very, very fundamental. People have to go through all the jobs that is there. So by the time you bloom into a person with experience in a company, because normally in the earlier days we had a lifetime employment system. A person would have seen all the department operations. He's got entire knowledge to manage things. So there's nothing like you need to have a specialist. You should be a generalist to be very successful in a Japanese company. But you should have a knowledge in all of that and a deep knowledge in one or two of them, but a general knowledge in all of them. It's a very interesting concept, and that makes your life very, very challenging and interesting. This reflects the Japanese team ethic, where there is no task that is specifically my job, or not tasks that are saying, oh, that's not my job. So this is not an acceptable thing. So everything is everybody's job. And fiber is easy to be done once, but consistency and sustenance that are difficult. Third, that's why visual management is so important so that everybody will know that there is some problem. Boundaries identify the designated and location and space for each item. I'll show you the example next one. They encourage proper return of the item as shown below. They also tend to prevent people from placing their items in a designated space. When combined with addresses and nameplates, boundaries are more powerful tool in ensuring that every item returns to a proper place the next time and every time. You look at these pictures. The first picture, there's a barrel. If the barrel has been taken out by somebody, nobody knows, nobody understands that there could have been a barrel here. So everybody will miss the barrel, but nobody understands that they missed the barrel. Then suppose you put a line around the place where the barrel is there. When the barrel is not there, they say, oh, why is that there's only a line? Where is the barrel? Something should have been here, not the barrel alone. And then added to that, put a nameplate on the wall, and there may be number of barrels. Then whatever the nameplate thing, fix it on the barrel, so everybody knows this barrel belongs to that place. They'll return it. So this is a visual marker that helps you. Then there are a lot of visual indicators, color coding, use of labels, danger alerts, indication where things should be put, etc. We all know universally red light is stop, and then the blue light, what they call. I mean, of course, we all call it as green light. But the Japanese language, it's Aoi. Okay, Aoi Shingo, not Midori Shingo, Aoi Shingo. Because the bulb inside is yellow, the glass outside is blue. Blue and yellow joined together, they give you green light. Because in Japan, there are only three colors. There are primary colors. Other colors are generated from the primary colors. They are red, yellow, blue. Okay. Now, there are transparent covers, performance indicators, everything. They're all visual indicators to make sure you don't go wrong. Okay. Even if you see toilets, there will be a Sardarji photo in front, or somebody with a dhoti from South India is there, a man, and a woman in the similar dress on the right. They think that by which people will make sure they enter in the right place. Okay. And then visual control and standardization. Points to remember when making visual control tools. Make them easy to see from a distance. Nowadays, whatever is more international standards, you can put gents and ladies on the toilet front instead of putting somebody from maybe what is for the domestic, maybe a little difficult for when you are operating in an international environment. Okay, and then make them easy to see from a distance. Put the display on the things. Everyone can tell what is right and what is wrong by looking at the visual sign itself. Anybody can follow them and make necessary corrections easily. Workplace should look brighter and orderly with your visual control thing. Your visual control should not be painted all over the place to make the workplace dark and gloomy. Now you look at this traffic signals, they've been raised and put on the top so that it is can be seen even from a distance. Today, if you look at the place where I live, Madras, the traffic signals have been very made beautifully. Even from distance, you can see them. They are very bright, the reds and yellows and the greens, so that you know, okay, yellow or orange as you call. You are able to understand stop on time, avoiding any accident. That's a very good way they have done. Then we have the zebra crossings, then car petrol indicator, speed indicators. See, once my petrol indicator, we used to put a label on that. That's gone. In a petrol bunk, the guy brought a diesel pump holder. Then I got scared. I told him, sir, he said, sir, there's no sign, sir. I thought it's diesel. Because cars of this size, they're normally diesel. Nobody buys petrol car for this. Then the day came and put a petrol sign on top of my direction arrow, electric danger signs. They're all some of the examples. And visual clues. A fireworks workplace can instantly be recognized by its tidy and well organized appearance. So, for the bright visual communication, color coding, tape lines, and other visual clues make it easy to distinguish items. Colors are associated with categories so that the items can be instantly recognized even from a distance. Less time is spent during hunting of items since colors make them more easily to be found out than any other way. Employees first determine what categories these standard colors will describe. A legend of the standard color coding system should be placed at the work area. You know, this is an interesting thing. In many places now they have started adopting these colors. Way back when we were doing quality circles in Chennai Port in the workshop, I was talking to the students, and my students were the employees who were all 8th standard. They're smithy, workmen. They're doing different trades there. Then they're asking me, talk to me about your Japan experience one day. Then I told them, in Japan, trains are very easy to identify. They go by color. You don't even know, you don't even have to know the name of the train, but look at the color and go. Then next week they came and asked me, sir, come and see our place. And when there, everything was color coded. Okay, it's a coil type of or steel. They have to go to this color box. Their wood, when they do the carpentry work, anything that's there, that's there. And then waste cotton should be there. And then they put these boxes with colors, and then they pasted what it should go inside. The other, when the oils have to be taken out, there are a number of oils that they need. And then they have a oil barrel. They put it on a stand so that easily they can. Before that, they have to, two people will have to hold. Third person will slowly they will tilt, and then third person will take the oil, wasting a lot of oil. Okay, and the people never bother about their oil because it's not their oil, not a, so that's the way things are going. But we talk to them, then slowly the mindset change drops in. Then the mindset change says we have to do something more. Then with the mindset change, Kaizen comes into their mind. So they took me there, and on a barrel and the jug, everything made in the same color. They showed me on the wall just against above these things. There were like hooks there, and there were tokens, number of tokens there with numbers. I asked him, what is that you have done here? Please explain this to me. He said, for all of us, we have made tokens with their numbers. And we have made number of tokens depending on the number of oil. If I have to take this oil with a can, I take the coin and put my token in the hook. Then if somebody comes and sees there are a lot of empty hooks, or there is one hook which is there with the token, then I see the token number and say, oh, I know this guy. So he should have taken the jug. I go to him and say, I borrow the jug back. So I replace this token with my token. So, all the barrels, number of hoops were there above each other thing. So, all that employees are very brilliant. Let me tell you, people have not seen. To some extent, I think the PowerPoint and other things, they have done so much of work in the software, they almost virtually kill the creativity in our workmen. Earlier, we had only a overhead transparency, and people used to make presentation quality circle forum. What an imagination! What an imagination! The guy was coming and presenting that they were throwing a net and trying to catch the fish. All that with a simple OHP transparency plates and pulling, pushing, all those things. You can see the story just, folding in front of your eyes in OHP. Today, the creativity has been robbed, is what I would say. I feel very sad about it. But, okay, the PowerPoint has made them to think another way because they have given them a platform, but they still think. Now, you see some of the other things that I have, visual workplace, okay, emergency exit and all that. Everything, whatever you have to do, you have to make a marking, and then the same color coding things. And then when I happened to be, along with my friend Gopal, we both decided to take cameras and go to Tohoku area during summer to catch some of the Tohoku festivals. Tohoku is a place that had the triple disaster that came into them in 2011. We also wanted to see how the new summer festivals are there after the Tohoku areas bounced back. So at that time when we were going, and I saw this training that was going on for the Shisha Kanko, the point and call. And then I saw in the train the senior training a junior on showing this Shisha Kanko. What is this Shisha Kanko? Is point and call, and I was very impressed with the thing. We also can use this Shisha Kanko in our own place. When we are going for visual control, Shisha Kanko point and call, it also can be a tool. When the train is going, the driver is crossing, every signal has got a number. And then there is a clock in front of him. And everything is so scheduled. If the driver has to cross that signal at 11:10, he'll point and say, 11:10, I'm crossing this signal, which is in green, signal number this. Then he'll cross. So it is going into a black box. It can be read by the people who are authorities to see things are good, and the people run their trains in the time they're expected to run. Okay, the station platform, people are taught the Shisha Kanko. She has to say, point out both directions and say, the platform is okay, you can close the door and proceed. So you can see in a local train, the driver as well as station master, station person, they show their hand and say, Shisha Kanko, the platform is clear, you can move. So this is very interesting thing. What is point and call method? Okay, let's understand. This is an industry safety technique, mostly used by the Japan's rail workers. This mindful method is used to heighten a person's mental focus at the key moment and instantly increase his or her attention, hence reduce the inadvertent mistakes, the negligence, and the misunderstanding related accidents due to human error. This method is not to signal or silence others about your actions, but to focus on the person's own attention. The point and call is to be made at the right time and the place by the persons performing. Okay. Now, I was wondering how do people follow this in their workplace? This is what I wanted to know. I was just going through it. Then I found this very interesting article by Mr. Anand Gopi of Customer Program Manager in Mahale and ex-Denzu guy in LinkedIn. I still remember when my colleague first took me to the shop floor. He writes, we came out of the office and stopped before the forklift truck aisle. He pointed his hand both directions with his finger to the empty aisle and confirmed okay orally before crossing the aisle. At first, I felt it was silly to me. Ask myself, why should someone not trust the empty aisle but wait and confirm orally that everything is okay to? Later, I did learn about the Japanese technique of Shisha Kanko, and Mr. Gobi writes, personally, I use this technique to check my pocket for wallet, phone, keys, and orally say, good, good, good. He points out, okay, I taken my phone, yes, good, perfect, good, okay, this is good, before I leave the house, because he says he had the experience of leaving the key inside and going out and coming back, found this, no way. And then they have to break open the lock and change it. So he says, now Shisha Kanko helps me. Shisha Kanko can help you, save you from accidents happening. This can be a standard Seiketsu. And then Seiketsu is some examples. Creates red tag policy, 5S manual software, SOP for 5S, yeah, auditing policy and practices. And of course, please understand all this policy and practices must have enough room for kaizens to be introduced later as and when you change practices, the workplace environment. Create and post results for each work area. Post these rules to each work area. Must be simple to understand, visual presentation of rules, tool arrangement standards, all that. So some example, you can write your own Seiketsu manual based on that. Then we also have a Seiketsu checklist, which is what I'm showing you an example. If you want to do Seiri, what are the items to check? What is the evaluation you have done well? Then the evaluation criteria mark. All these are only samples. You can do your own thing. And then the person who is checking that, he can write his assessment comments conducted by, and he can write his comments. This is a Seiketsu checklist. Visual controls play an important role to ensure consistency is maintained and everybody will know whenever a problem or abnormality occurs through visual alert and signal. So some of the visual control examples are there. When something is not in place, you immediately understand that. Something is not in place, understand that. Okay, visual control change. Tool storage. Now, make them easy to see from a distance. Put the display on items. Everyone can tell what is right or wrong, what is missing, what is in place. Also, they can say anybody can follow them and make necessary corrections very easily. Dirt is kept from entering the clean area, Seiketsu and safety. Also, dirt that has somehow found its way into the clean area must be removed quickly by ascertaining the cause and seal that from further happening. Seiketsu include periodic safety sweeps, finding outdated, poisonous, or other dangerous material, removing them from the work area from time to time if found. Okay, and then work instructions, SOPs, checklist development for regular SOPs. This is what you can do by your own group meetings, mechanism and format development for ordering supplies, reporting, etc., color coding. It's all whatever I'm talking about, many of you must be doing or may be doing and will be doing. Okay, standardize the common symbols. Weekly or monthly 5S audits are maybe the most used or misused lean tools. An obvious risk is that it favors compliance over understanding. So I also conducted the Japanese language proficiency test in Chennai for the southern region for a number of years. One of the areas of the test is listening. So at the end of the listening thing, many people come to me and complain, sir, there was a lot of problem in listening. There was a lot of echo. I'm saying, kindly tell me only one thing. Was it a problem with listening or your understanding? Because your understanding, you can shift it very easily on listening. So same way, okay? Now, if you ask somebody to be compliant with standard, he may not do and say, sir, I don't know. Please understand, in every country it says, not knowing, saying, I don't know the law is not an escape thing. Okay? And then human errors. I'm just showing you what are human errors. This can happen any other place. We have to write our SOPs for psychics, everything. taking into consideration that these sort of errors can happen at your workplace. Human causes. People did something wrong or did not do something that is as needed. Human causes typically lead to physical causes. Okay, somebody forgets to fill the brake fluid. The physical cause is the brake failure. So human error can be split into three: recognition, judgment, and behavior. Recognition again split into two. One is ignorance. This can be an outcome of ignorance, lack of knowledge, or a false recognition, wrong interpretation of a fact. And judgment can be misjudgment of a fact you observe. That's why we say the 3G. Go to the Gemba, see by yourself. Okay, the 3G. Sang and see. And then behavior. Accidental, intentional, and incomplete. Okay, accidental, acted other than one's intention. Intentional, intentionally make a mistake. Incompetent, ability not enough to finish the job. Okay, so there was a train accident in Japan, and then it found there was an urgent call for the driver to leave his desk for a few seconds. That's the time the train went out of the platform. So these are most unexpected things that do not find a part of your human error because not expected all times. Kindly make sure you understand human errors that can cause the workplace as well as life problems, and make sure your psychitsu that take care of most of these things and work out the standards for the same. And when we say problems solving, the Seikitsu helps in problem solving also. See, when we say problem solving, the different steps of problem solving is problem identification, problem analysis with the facts and data, and problem solving through a process of problem solving. Then most important thing is problem prevention. Okay, but that once you solve the problem, it should not come back. Okay, Sayatsu Boshi. So once you're done, it should not come back to you. Then problem recreation, like the police. Then they want to find out the facts of a problem or how it has happened. They recreate they take the criminal to the spot and tell them, oh, you act and tell me how you entered the house. The problem recreation and problem anticipation. If you know these are the causes for the problem, when you have a similar condition that the weather is like this, the temperature is like this, everything, there is a possibility of problem happening today. The problem anticipation. These are the issues, and Seikitsu takes care of the problem prevention in your workplace. The success of Seikitsu. Earlier also I've indicated to you how do you achieve success in all the 3 years, and how do you also know how you achieved really success, or whatever is your effort does not give you the results that you expect. So similarly for Seikits also there are success factors I would like to give. One is you have to set the norms and standards that are for the first 3 years. And people, when they do their seizo, they should be according to these norms. However, the site conditions may change. Things can always change. New people can come. So this is more not only a thing. If people change, where do they get the training to do according to this? This may be a place. And also there should be enough provision scope when you're setting the standards for Kaizen in these areas. A 5S manual is created with all the checklists, storage plans, color coding standards, etc. And all the checklists must have a provision for somebody who has done the check to sign. Even if it's on a daily work, somebody is doing the Seido, he has to sign. Somebody has done the Seiton, he has to sign. The supervisor on him should do a counter check. So these are the very important things. It's not that without any responsibility is something they just fill up and give. I told you, my Japanese language proficiency test that we do, at every level they have to check, we keep checking. Because we cannot simply say, okay, in a room of 25 people, 20 have come, so 5 are. We ask the person who is in charge of the room for conducting the proctor and his deputy assistant proctor, they have to go through, check. Actually, the guy is not there independently, and then the two results must be thing. Both of them check and then sign the thing, which has to be checked for the arithmetic things, the numbers by the control room guy, and everybody signs. With all that, sometimes people can make mistake. That's where human error comes. Okay, we got to make sure that all the checklists are properly signed by somebody who owns the responsibility for the same. The workplace person should be aware of the standards, norms, SOP to be followed for putting practice the first 3 years and follow this. One of the important thing is whatever is the thing, your manuals, etc., must be in a language that is understood by the people who are going to use that SOP. Okay, kindly make sure the language plays a very important role, especially in a multilingual country like India. And we have so many languages, so we have to say SOP must be in the local language people understand, because most of the workers come from the locality. And then Seiketsu measured by the reduction in abnormalities. And then Seiketsu is also measured by the effective workplace visual control. Even after putting up all the control, if there are accidents, if people don't understand, people trip and fall and all that, your visual controls have failed. That you have to measure, monitor, they control, give you the expected results of what you want. So thank you for being with us, and hope to see you in the last years. Shitsuke, something that we need to have a mindset change and the acceptance of the Japanese way of thinking mixed with Indian practices. Thank you all very much. I'm sorry, not Indian practice, all non-Japanese countries practices. Thank you very much.